whether or not they consider that to be part of the guideline. Now we know, according to the person who wrote it. Let's bring in Dan Bongino, former New York City Police Department officer, former Secret Service agent, and host of the Dan Bongino Show. Dan, what do you think about the New York Times, the op-ed folks encouraging people all across the country to call these U.S. senators to say no to tax cuts?
I mean, is this story, Steve, surprising to anybody? I mean, the New York Times opinion page is full of radical leftists. I mean, we have people over there like Krugman, who write pieces, who's a Nobel Prize-winning economist who can't seem to figure out that the money fairy doesn't exist. He seems to think money drops from the skies, like there's a tooth fairy and a money fairy, and that the government can magically create value and print money. So this story isn't surprising to me at all, but it's just ironic that they would come out and actually support activism, not just take an ideological position. That's kind of a different change.
Yeah, you got to see the column in the news side. Their first story essentially says, if this tax bill passes, it'll change every aspect of American life. That they're trying to, in their reporting, get people extremely worried about a tax plan, which on the opinion side, when the polling does not grade out high for the American people, they're kind of depending on the messaging aspect. Where do you think we're at with this tax plan?
You know, Brian, listen, this is a binary choice. And if I could make a passionate appeal to my fellow Americans, and I mean this, what the heck has the government done for you in the last 30 years? No, I mean it. Seriously, think about this for a second. Even
National
if you're a liberal,
defense.
And listen, National Defense, they've also bankrupted our military because now we need more money and our equipment's falling apart. They've bankrupted your retirement and Social Security. They've bankrupted Medicare, your health care system you've relied on and you've paid into. They've destroyed the student loan system. They've destroyed the public education system. Steve, the government has been a forest fire. Everything it touches, it destroys. Every city it runs, it destroys big government. They have done nothing. This is a binary choice, guys. You can keep your money in your wallet or you can give more to the government. And after 8 years of a disastrous bigger government policy under Barack Obama, why in hell is the GOP on the defensive over this? Their only line should be, we are giving you more of your money because we've wasted it for the past 8 years. They've done nothing with it.
Yeah, I actually don't think they're on the defensive because I think they've been, the other news is so overwhelming. They're actually getting work done without the scrutiny of major legislation that it usually attracts. Don't you agree?
I do, Brian, but what they failed to do also is they failed to do, I call it Wheaties box messaging. You know, the GOP has this habit of walking into like a methadone clinic and talking about the Laffer curve. Listen, the people in there just want to know how it's going to benefit their lives, this tax cut plan. And it's, simple. When you give the government money, as Milton Friedman said, neither cost or quality matter. They're taking your money so they don't care about the cost of what they're buying, and they don't even care about the quality of what they're buying because they're not buying it for themselves. They're just spending your money on other people. Under Bill Clinton, we spent half as much money as we're spending now, and yet Democrats won't even think, the Clinton economy. Okay, let's go back to Clinton spending and cut the federal budget in half. Yeah. We are wasting a ton of money. We don't need to give them more.
Dan, that dirty dossier, when that came out during the election, the president wanted to know who was behind it. He wanted to see the key documents that led to that. He's been encouraging the DOJ and the FBI to release that information. They're not doing that. The House Intel Committee is really upset about this. The senior counsel is asking Devin Nunes to make them do this or hold them in contempt of Congress. What do you think?
Well, I've said this before on your show, and I'll say it again. This is the most disturbing political scandal of my 43 years on this planet. I was a federal agent, guys. I've seen it. The awesome power of the federal government is something to behold. And when you wield it, it's scary, even for me. The fact that this dossier may have been used as evidence in judicial warrants to spy on a political opponent, I don't care what your partisan affiliation is. That should scare the heck out of you. What is this, a third world republic here? This is really frightening stuff, should scare everyone.
Right, and now we know that the old guy in charge, Comey, is out. Chris Wray is in. There's no longer an Eric Holder or a Loretta Lynch. So why isn't the president picking up the phone demanding answers?
I have to be honest with you, I'm confused about this as well. I'm not sure. Because if justice wasn't blind and the FBI and the DOJ used a Hillary Clinton finance, Democrat Party finance dossier to then get information on a political opponent, to unmask them, to literally spy on them, I mean, this is like Watergate. It's like Watergate on steroids. I mean, and this is such a damaging political scandal. I'm not sure why the head of the executive branch isn't pushing further, but there may be something we don't know here, and Jeff Sessions may be onto something. So
Right.
I'm not sure.
It could be part of an investigation. The Department of Justice did put out a statement, and essentially what it says is they have briefed important members of Congress. They know what's going on. But when the president, Dan, sent out a tweet yesterday, he suggested, he mentioned deep problems, deep state, as if the deep state, the permanent government, could be behind this.
Well, I mean, it's certainly that you may have political. This is what I've had suggested to me by a number of people who are on the inside, that this may have had a lot to do with deep state Department of Justice insiders who were more political actors than Department of Justice actors. In other words, justice was never blind for them. It was only blind to Republicans. They were working on behalf of essentially the Democrat Party. Those may be the people who were involved in this. I just don't see rank and file FBI agents being involved. I've worked with the FBI. These men and women are great. They're unbelievable patriots. It may have been political actors forcing management at the Bureau to, hey, take a look at this dossier, which, again, a political scandal for the ages. I mean, you essentially had the FBI working as an opposition research firm for the Clinton campaign, the Democrat Party. I mean, come on, guys. This is groundbreaking.
After the election. Thanks. Dan Bongino. See you soon.
Thanks, Dan. All right, let's hand it over to Jillian. She has some more headlines for us. Good morning.
I can't help but notice there's a man back here that he has your book, Ainsley.
Oh, look at that. Yes, I'll tell him I'll
He's
come
been
and
holding
sign
up
it.
your book for a couple minutes.
New Jersey out here. There's a lady from Texas. Italy, Texas.